Good day everyone, I'm Lorenz Getalado from B Scream 3C, comparing the RA 9344 and Juvenile Delinquency and Prevention Act from USA, United States of America. The Philippine Republic Act number 9344, also known as the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006 and the Juvenile Delinquency and Prevention Act JDPA of the United States, originally enacted in 1974. Both address juvenile delinquency but differ in focus, provision, and the social legal context in which they operate. And number one is general purpose. RA 9344 Philippines focus on the protection, rehabilitation, and reintegration of children in conflict with the law CICL and emphasize restorative justice and aims to ensure that children are treated differently from adults and illegal system. JDPA and USA aim to prevent juvenile delinquency, reduce the increation and ensure that juvenile offenders are not exposed to harsh conditions or settings that may escape the criminal behavior. It emphasizes the institutionalization and community-based programs. And number two is age of criminal responsibility, RA 9344. Initially, set the minimum age of criminal responsibility at 15 years old with adjustment for children aged 12 to 15 if they commit serious crime and are proven to have act with discernment. Emphasis, children under the age threshold are not held in criminal liable but are interested subject to intervention programs. JDPA, the age of criminal responsibility varies by state as the law does not set a federal standard. However, states are encouraged to focus on rehabilitation and alternatives to prosecution for minors. And number three is a key provision, RA 9344 Philippines. And number one is a diversion program, non-judicial measure to prevent children from formal court to proceeding. And number two is a youth detention center, segregation of juvenile from adults in all phases of detention. And number three is intervention programs, education, skills training, and counseling for CICL. And number four is restorative justice encourage reconciliation and accountability between offender, victim, and the community. JDPA and United States of America core protection is the institutionalization of status offender, DSO, minors who commit non-criminal act, etc. Frequency cannot be detained in secure facilities. Adult jail and lock-up removal. Minor must not be detained in adult jail or lockups. And sight and sound separation. When juvenile must be held in adult facilities, they may be separate by sight and sound. And disproportionate minority contact, DMC, effort to address racial disparities in the juvenile justice system. And number two is a prevention program grants to state for community-based delinquents prevention and diversion. And number three is accountability-based sanction promote effective rehabilitation and entry. And number four is emphasis on restorative justice. RA 9344 strongly emphasize restorative justice principle involves families and community in resolving conflict and reintegration the child into society. JDPA focus more on prevention and system reform to avoid criminalization youth for minor interaction with less emphasis is restorative justice but significant focus on rehabilitation. And number five is approach to increation, RA 9344. Strongly discourage increation for CICL unless absolutely necessary and promotes community-based alternatives, detention is a view as a last resort. And GDPA encourage this then the institutionalization and requires state that comply with provision for grants, but there are in but there are instances where juvenile may still face incarceration based on state law. And number 6 is a compliance in implementation. RA 9344, state must comply with federal standard to receive founding founding creating incentive for reform. However, different cross state the levels of either. And number 7 is a broader context. Philippines RA 9344 is rooted in the nation social cultural focus on family and community, as well as international agreements like in the UN intervention on the rights of the children. And key similarities, both prioritize rehabilitation over punishment for juvenile, both discourage the creation of minors, especially with adults. Both includes measure to address systematic issue and ending juvenile offenders. And ayun lang po. Maraming salamat. Thank you.